Holy smokers, guys, I might lose a fortune next week, all right? I might lose a fortune. I'm very scared going into next week. 2 of my 4 biggest investments in the entire stock market are both reporting numbers next week, all right? We got one reporting numbers on Tuesday, another one reporting numbers on Thursday. So it's a big, big week for me. I could lose a lot of money this upcoming week. So I want to go into both of these companies, what these companies do. I want to go into the numbers expected by these companies, whether I believe they will beat our earnings or whether I think they will miss earnings, and also if I will buy any more shares if their stocks go down, if I will sell off if their shares go up. I want to talk about all that. I'm really, really scared, guys. I'm so scared that I accidentally shaved my whole face last night. Like, it's just scary out there, all right? Let's get into this, guys. Hope you enjoy this. The first one up here is Holy Moly, Toll Brothers. They're going to be reporting numbers on Tuesday, all right? They're going to be reporting numbers on Tuesday. This is by far my worst performing stock. They're a high-end home builder, the highest end home builder you can possibly invest in as a public company by far and away. Their forward P is under 7, and like I said, this is my worst performing stock by a mile. This one, on cost basis, I'm down over 13%. There's nothing that comes even close in my accounts to how bad this one is performing for me. It's absolutely been a disastrous stock. I've lowered cost basis. We're still down 13% on this one. Going into earnings, that's what's scary about this. Down 13% going into earnings. What happens if this stock tanks more? We could be down 20+%. So it's been an ugly stock for us, since we got on it a few months ago. I believe in this company a lot long term. I love this business model, but I gotta say, guys, these numbers are gonna be hard to hit, all right? They're expected to do around, or analysts are expecting them to do around $1.03 of EPS, all right? $1.03. A year ago, they did 87 cents, all right? So they're expecting a pretty big increase there. Now, the home prices are expected to rise considerably again for the company. It's been a consistent trend, all right? Orders should be pretty strong. The backlog's been very, very strong for the company, but we still don't know how many they've been able to produce. We know a lot of the home builders have been facing labor struggles out there, meaning there just haven't been enough workers to produce the homes. Also, wages are going up, so it's kind of like a bad double combo. Plus, we've also seen a lot of home builders struggle with raising their profitability because everything's gotten more expensive, from the metals you use in a home, from the lumber used in a home, and a lot of different products. So all these things weigh on profitability. And so going into these earnings, I'm a little scared. 87 cents last year. Now they're expected to do around $1.03. I'm a little scared with that number, all right? The next number I'm even more scared of is the revenue. So they're expecting revenue, analysts are expecting revenue to be up over 20% year over year. Over 20% year over year, the analysts are expecting there. That's a big number there, guys. That's a big number. That's a hard number to hit. We're going to have to see if that comes true, all right? Now, if we look here, the last quarter, net income actually went down from 73 cents the previous year to 72 cents this year, all right? So on the net income side, the EPS side, that's a little scary. The fact that last quarter, year over year, it was actually weaker. If this was a weaker number, that's going to be a massive miss. Imagine if they only do 86 cents or 85 cents of EPS when they're expected to do around 87 cents. That would be a massive miss when analysts are expecting around $1.03. So that's a little scary for me. And if we look at revenues last quarter, they were up around 17%. So expecting revenues to be up over 20%. So going into these earnings, it's a little scary. But if we look at this company, right? It's a company, once again, that's trading at a forward P under 7 on this stock, all right? So let's think about this logically for a second, all right? Let's say they just are in line with their earnings, or let's say it's even a slight miss. How low can this stock go? Well, like where's the bottom in a stock like Toll Brothers? Is it at a 6 PE, forward P? Are we going to go down to a 5 forward P? Is this going to be like an MU situation? When I look at Toll Brothers, the company, this is not a company I don't think right now is like the top for their business. I don't think this is as good as it's going to get. When you look at the numbers on how much we've lagged over the past decade in terms of new home starts, it's lagged in a massive way compared to where we are historically at. We're usually at around 1.6 million home starts per year. We've been considerably under that the majority of years if you go past, basically since the Great Recession happened. So when I look at Toll Brothers, I'm like, okay, let's say they slight miss. Does the stock sell off even more? Where's the bottom for the stock? I hope it doesn't. I want to recover a lot in this stock. It's not a stock I really want to funnel that much more money in because there's there's so many other great companies that I honestly like more than Toll Brothers. I love Toll Brothers, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of other companies, including this one we're going to talk about right now, that I love a lot more than Toll Brothers, and I'm like, I don't really want to stick more money in Toll Brothers. So if it drops to $31 a share, $30 a share, I really don't want to put more money in the stock. So in terms of that one, I'm hoping they beat on earnings. I'm hoping it's a strong earnings. I hope the stock goes up because this is not one I really want to put more money in at this point. I already have a massive position in this company. I just want to keep that position for the next few years out or whatever. So we'll have to see what happened there, guys. It's definitely a scary one going in. Big numbers expected. We're just gonna have to see. Stock number 2 that is going to be reporting earnings this week is Alibaba, which is a stock I've been buying heavily the past few weeks. So heavily, much more aggressive buy for me than most stocks going in. Most stocks I like, start dipping my toe in. Alibaba, the last few weeks I've been buying this one heavily, guys, heavily. So Alibaba right now trades at a forward P of 22, all right, which is fairly low when you consider the type of market we're in and when you consider the type of growth numbers this company is doing and is expected to, all right? Now, this one I'm not nearly as scared as Toll Brothers, and I'll explain myself in just a minute. But in terms of EPS, a year ago they did $1.15 EPS. Analysts are only expecting them to do around $1.22. That's hardly a rise in EPS there, guys. So when I look at Alibaba, I'm looking at this one, I'm like, they should be able to beat these numbers pretty easily. They should be able to beat that the EPS number very easily. When you look at what their revenue is expected to do, they're expected to have a sales growth of over 61% in this quarter, guys. Over 61%. As far as guidance for next quarter, they should, or at least analysts are expecting them to guide around a 63% up number there. It's a massive, massive number there. So when I look at Alibaba, I look at this one and I'm like, I think especially on the EPS side, it's a much easier beat than Toll Brothers. So if I had to, guess, I guess you would say, or flip a coin and say which one's gonna, has a better likelihood of beating EPS, I would say Alibaba has a better chance than Toll Brothers at beating their EPS number. That's hardly a rise in EPS. And Alibaba's in a position right now where they're just growing revenue in a massive way. A lot of it is unprofitable revenue right now because they're spending so much money on so many different things that are big time growth vectors for the company. But at the same time, they should be able to beat $1.22 of EPS. That should be an easy beat there, guys. Now, going in, it is a little scary because we've seen the Chinese stocks get hammered, okay? Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, they've all been hit. And those are kind of the three big dogs, especially Alibaba and Tencent, all right? Never mind that, a ton of the smaller Chinese companies, the ones that are really showing insane growth and are a little smaller players, those ones had been on an absolute tear. Some of those stocks have been up 100+%. And we've seen over the past few months, those stocks just get absolutely sold off and just absolutely destroyed. Almost every single Chinese stock, if you got in the past few months, you're probably down on your position right now. Almost every single one. They've all been hit very hard. And this is basically, a lot of it's because of the tariff situation. A lot of people are scared about Chinese stocks. And we saw Tencent last week report numbers and we saw their stock sell off more. And they actually saw their earnings go down, honestly. The company's profit for the quarter ending in June dipped 2%. So it's a little scary from the perspective of, wow, Tencent just saw their earnings go down, their net income go down. Could that be a situation that happens with Alibaba? Right now, investors are very scared of the Chinese stocks. We've seen this with a lot of sell-off over the past few months. And if Alibaba misses, maybe that just gives people more initiative to sell their shares off and say, oh, I just went out of that one. Now, Alibaba, I really hope it goes down. This is the stock I really hope goes down. I hope Toll Brothers goes up. I hope Alibaba goes down, which means the opposite will probably happen. Alibaba will go up and Toll Brothers will go down. But I really want Alibaba to go down. I am totally for that. I would love to build a bigger stake in the company. I built a lot of shares in this company over the past few weeks, but I would love to build this into a much, much bigger position over the coming months. So I'm hoping they miss. I hope the stock tanks. I hope it goes down to a 160 level, 150 level so I can get a bigger stake built there. Because I really believe in that company. I think it's going to be, it's already one of the biggest companies in the world. It's already one of the most important companies. But when I look out over the next decade, let's say, I think Alibaba is going to be one of the 5 most important companies in the world. When I think of the most important companies in the world, 5-10 years from now, I think of Alibaba, I think of Apple, I think of Google, I think of Facebook. Those are the 4 that right off the top of my head, they just come to me. And then I probably think about Tencent and Microsoft after that. So when I'm thinking about companies that are just, have these huge growth vectors going for them, that it should keep up for several years into the future. You know, Alibaba is one of the first ones that come up, and when I'm looking at the stock at a 22 forward PE, and it's still, this company's in a stage right now where they're not really focused on profitability that much, okay? When this company actually starts to focus around profitability in a major way, like just wait to see what the numbers they start doing over time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about either one of these stocks. Also, let me know if any of your companies are reporting numbers next week. I would love to hear from you guys in that comment section. It's earnings craziness. This is the last big week for earnings, and then it starts to taper off, and then we have about a month or two of calmness in the market, and then next thing you know, we're gonna have big earnings coming again in the fall time. But let me know what you guys think about this in that comment section. You know, cross your fingers for me. We need some good stuff to happen there. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.